What's going on, everybody? Jack here from Half Chrome, and today I want to talk about different kinds of drones. People ask me all the time, what's the best drone? And really, it's not super simple, right? For some people, the Evo 2 Pro might be the best drone for you. And for others, it might be this Eachine E010. This thing's less than $20. This guy, close to $2,000. So, how do you know what's the best drone for you? Well, stay tuned, because we're going to talk about it. When it comes to figuring out what the best drone for you might be, you have to think about your purpose for flying and what is your budget, right? Are you looking just to have fun? Do you want to take good pictures and video? Or are you interested in FPV flying? That's racing or freestyle. Now, I'm going to assume that you're not looking for FPV. If you are, I got a different video for you. But in this case, we're going to talk about photography drones and drones that you're just going to kind of enjoy flying, things that can take pictures and video. Now, budget is also super important. You're going to kind of see there are certain price points where you kind of unlock certain different features and things that you'll get with a camera drone. Before I get started, if there's something you want to learn more about, we have links, full reviews on all of these drones down below. And also, if you're thinking about buying one of these, we'd love it for you to use one of the links down below. They are affiliate links and they help support this channel at no cost to you. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. This is the Eachine E010, less than $20. I've seen this thing for as low as 12 bucks on sale. It's just kind of one of those, I just want to learn how to fly. I want to try something new. I'm kind of interested in the hobby, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. This is a good place to start. Super customizable, lots of fun. You get a flight time of between 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the batteries you choose. And this thing isn't going to fly far away, maybe 30 meters. That's about 100 feet. This thing is super fun and kind of a gateway into FPV. So if you're interested in that, we'll get into that later. That brings me to this. This is the Ryze Tello, and actually this is the drone that I think most beginners should start with. I love this thing. It's $99. You fly it with your phone. It shoots 5 megapixel photos. You get HD video, and the video is stabilized electronically. That means that even if your drone is shaken, the picture isn't necessarily. You get about 13 minutes of flight time and a range of about 100 meters or so. You can actually learn how to program and code on one of these things. So not only can you have fun, you can actually learn a thing or two as well. But this is a great beginner drone and kind of the gateway in some of the bigger drones that do a little bit more. This also has some intelligent flight modes, fun things like droney shots, up and away, the drone fly up and back. Cool stuff, great for a beginner, highly recommend it. Now, between $100 and $200, there aren't a whole lot of options. Just under $200, my recommendation would probably be the Bugs 12. It has a 22-minute flight time. Videos are stabilized electronically, and it does shoot 4K, although it's not going to be quite as nice as some of these drones I'll talk about later. But if you can stretch your budget over $200, I would go with this guy. This is the Bugs 16 Pro. And the difference between this and the 12 is that it has a gimbal, right? Gimbal is going to stabilize your video footage, kind of take out the shakes. The 12 and some other drones like the Tello will do it electronically, but that just isn't quite as good. This is the least expensive drone that you can get with a real gimbal that takes pretty decent pictures and video. I'm a big fan of the Bugs 16 here with its 28-minute flight time and a range of about 500 meters. It also has a few intelligent flight modes like follow me and orbit, so this thing is really pretty fun. Now, it's not professional grade or professional quality. We're going to have to spend a little bit more to get something like that. Okay, so between $300 and $400, there aren't a whole lot of great options out there. There are some mini drones coming into play that look intriguing, but really the best option is probably the DJI Mavic Mini or the Mini SE. Now, the Mini SE is only available currently outside of the US, but it's basically the same as the original Mavic Mini. With the Minis, you'll get a flight time of about 30 minutes and a range of 400 meters. That's 2.5 miles. Now, you get a nice camera, shoot 2.7K video on a real 3-axis gimbal, and the Minis are really kind of the first semi-professional, like if you're really careful, you can get professional grade stuff out of one of these drones. Now, it's manufactured by DJI, and they make some of the best drones in the world. The user interface is awesome, and they have some intelligent flight modes called quick shots that really make it nice and easy to fly this drone. If you want to do a nice orbit around a house or a person or another object, super simple with a drone like this. When it comes down to it though, I'd probably say skip the original Mavic Mini and go for the Mini 2. Right at $450, you're getting a much better drone. There are a couple of really big differences when you go from the Mini 1 to the Mini 2. The first being the better range. You get 10,000 meters range because it's using OcuSync 2.0. Now, no, you're not flying 10,000 meters away. That's like 6.2 miles, but you just get better image quality coming back to your phone. The feed that you're watching, crystal clear. This also has a 30-minute flight time, but the camera gets an upgrade. It's a 4K camera. You can also shoot in RAW, which is a big plus for professional photographers. So yeah, I think it's worth spending a little bit more and go with the Mini 2 versus the Mini 1. Plus, both mini drones under 250 grams. That's a big deal in the US because then you don't have to register your drone unless you're flying commercial. There are also a lot of restrictions in other countries, and most of those restrictions start around 250 grams. This guy, not subject because it does weigh less than 250 grams. There aren't a whole lot of drones to recommend at $500, $600, or $700. There's some good ones out there. I do like the Parrot Anafi, but when it comes down to it, nothing really better than the Mini 2 or comparable to the Mavic Air 2. The Mavic Air 2 is a foldable drone. It's a little bit bigger than the Mini, so it does have to be registered, but it has a really fantastic camera and some pretty awesome features. The Mavic Air 2 has the longest flight time of any Mavic ever made by DJI at 34 minutes, and it also has that 10,000 meter range. Now, one thing I really like about the Mavic Air 2 is the HDR video. So it has this quad bare sensor that shoots 48 megapixel stills, which is pretty cool, but it also allows us to do really awesome HDR video. So if you're not into post-processing and capturing raw images and color grading, this is the drone you want. You get active track. Now this drone, you can start doing things like follow me. You can't do that with the Mini series because it doesn't have obstacle avoidance. The Air 2 has obstacle avoidance sensors in the back as well as in the front of the drone. For $800, this might be the best bang for your buck. It's not the best drone, but it is really a good value. I'm a big fan of the Air 2. Now, if you can stretch your budget to $1,000, that's when this guy comes into play. This is the Air 2S, and it's basically an upgraded version of the Mavic Air 2. Now, this has the upgraded OcuSync system, so it's got a better range, 12,000 meters. That's like 7.5 miles, but really, you're not flying that far away. It's just a super crystal clear video. The feed coming back to your phone is awesome. This is the best I've ever seen in a drone before. You lose about 3 minutes of flight time from the Air 2, but still pretty darn good at 31 minutes. Whereas the Air 2 can only shoot 4K video, only 4K video. This guy shoots 5.4K video. Some people call it 6K video. Now, nobody's watching 5.4 or 6K videos, but it is really nice to be able to zoom in and post-processing. This guy has a different camera with a full 1-inch sensor. That means it's going to shoot better low light photography. DJI even implemented something called master shots, where it takes a bunch of really unique videos and stitches them together and puts it to music for you. Pretty cool feature on this drone. This drone really is a marvel, and it's impressive that they got all of these things into this drone for less than $1,000. You've got a couple of extra obstacle avoidance sensors that you didn't have on the Air 2. This is a really nice drone, and if you're thinking about getting into professional or semi-professional quality, this is probably the first place that I would start. I want to talk about a few other drones that not necessarily the ones I would recommend, but I think might suit your needs if you fall into one of these niches. One is the Mavic 2 Pro. It's very similar to the Air 2S. A couple of key differences. It also has a 1-inch sensor, but Hasselblad colored science technology. It has full 360-degree obstacle avoidance sensors. So if you really want that comfort, you may want to think about that. It also has a few more flight modes like waypoints and things like that, but it only does 4K 30, not 4K 60. Mavic 2 Pro also has a variable aperture. And something that's kind of unique, but the Anafi thermal drone is really cool. I was amazed playing with this thing, but I also learned pretty quickly, you gotta know what you're doing to capture good thermal images. You're not gonna find a better flying thermal camera for less than $2,000. Now, if you're an action junkie and you're looking for something to follow you, then the drone you want is the Skydio. It's about $1,000, and they're actually starting to ship these things to people now. It's great for that, not great at other things, but it's still a pretty solid option if you need something to capture those action moments following you around. That brings us to this. If your budget is between $1,500 and $2,000, you're serious about aerial photography, this might be the drone you want. Now, like the Air 2S and Mavic 2 Pro, it also has a 1-inch sensor, so it's a fantastic camera, does great in all lighting situations. This has an incredible 40-minute flight time. That's right, 40 minutes. And surprisingly, this beast is one of the quietest drones on the list. This monster has a range of 9,000 meters, that's 5.5 miles. Already mentioned the camera has a 1-inch sensor, and it'll also shoot 6K video. It's actually 5.4K, so this is pretty much the same as the Air 2S in terms of video resolution. It has 12 different cameras on this thing. helping keep it safe, obstacle avoidance 360 degrees, pretty spectacular. It does of course have all of those flight modes that you're probably looking for, waypoints, follow me, orbit, stuff like that. But one thing this doesn't have that a lot of the other drones do is geofencing. That means you, as the pilot, are responsible for understanding when it is and when it is not safe to take off. This drone will alert you if you're in restricted airspace, but it's up to you as the pilot to determine whether or not it's safe to fly. With a DJI drone like this, you're grounded. It doesn't matter if you've got prior approval or not. You have to go in and unlock it using the software, and that's kind of a hassle. This is a fantastic drone. If you're a professional or a semi-professional photographer, really do like this thing. But is that extra price justifiable over something like the Air 2S? Well, that's not my decision, that's up to you guys. I like both of these drones, and both of these are capable machines if you're getting into aerial photography. Either professionally or semi-professionally, both of these will do the job. So what do you think? Did I miss something? Is there a drone that should be on this list that isn't? If so, let me know. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, make sure you click that subscribe button. Come back because we got lots of great drone content coming your way. Anybody want a free drone? We're giving them away once a month to a lucky Patreon subscriber, and that could be you. Details down below in the video description. Hey everyone, thanks for watching, good luck, and happy flying.